I think the regulatory compliance regime is still at an early stage, and because only this year, it has become compulsory for the top 1,000 companies. And I think a lot of companies are already aware. I mean, a lot of companies, even before this was made mandatory, were actually complying. So this is not something that they're not aware of at all. But for the others, I think it's a great opportunity to kind of set their house in order. I think it's a great opportunity for them to realize that, this is something which cannot be ignored, and they have to take E, S and G very, very, seriously, and ensure that their businesses are in compliance, and they don't just do what the law requires them to do, but also do much more, because that's how they kind of project themselves as a sector leader. They project themselves as a responsible company. They project themselves as a company where everyone would want to invest in. So I think it's a win-win situation, not just for the environment, for the country, this earth, but also for the companies as such. And I think it's a fabulous opportunity. Yeah,
I think every sector is hot. Manufacturing, which was not hot earlier, is now the most hottest of the. Obviously, there are the new age sectors like fintech, edtech that you heard, but I think the old, even there's consolidation on traditional businesses, because technology is disrupting everything. So therefore, you have to be ahead of the curve. So every sector, I don't see any one sector that is getting neglected. Whether you go to healthcare, you're seeing consolidation of hospitals. As simple as that. So every sector is equally hot.
I think it has taken off, and we do have a lot of diversity in the in-house legal departments. I think there is a fair amount of gender diversity in the in-house legal departments, but we are on that journey. We will reach the destination soon.
Law practice management and law firm management have come up in a big way in the last decade. I think we are making huge progress. If you see a lot of even the mid-sized firms and the upcoming firms, the rising firms, not just the tier 1 firms, are realizing the importance of letting the lawyers do the lawyering bit, letting the lawyers concentrate on their craft, whereas leaving the management to the professionals. So 2023 is going to be giving further boost to the practice, the law practice management side, and I'm really sure that more and more lawyers and law firms are realizing that it's important to have professionals manage their practice and bring an element and let the fee earners concentrate on growing the practice.
Well, globally, there's only one global gold standard on data protection. That's the General Data Protection Regulation of the European Union. But while it's been a European baby on its own self, the fact is it's got international ramifications because it's applicable to any jurisdiction where data of Europeans is being looked at. So when one looks at trying to get inspired by the GDPR in the Indian context, it's a good starting point. However, GDPR in its own 4 areas is not going to be particularly successful in the Indian context. That's why when I looked at the Personal Data Protection Bill 2019, it was heavily influenced by the GDPR. Right now, this new Digital Personal Data Protection Bill is slightly different in its approach, but we have to remember one thing. We are looking at an Indian ecosystem where sharing has been the de facto norm in the society. We've all originated from the joint family setup. And that being so, sharing comes to us naturally. In this context, trying to stipulate the various parameters of data protection assume far more challenges. And I think whatever we do, we must be able to customize and localize it, Indianize it, so that it actually can work in the Indian ecosystem. So this 500 crore rupees fine is something that's alien in the Indian jurisdiction per se. Yes, the Competition Commission of India has already now cumulatively fined Google more than about 2200 crores, but that's one solitary incident. Now you're talking about fining as peculiar fines, 500 crore rupees per incident. That's something a huge game changer, I believe. And we'll have to also look how the government looks at various challenges and issues in the context of the new data protection law.
See, the women leaders will only be created if there is women empowerment at the base level. So you create from the grounds up. More lawyers in the profession, and how do you encourage more women in the profession is to have enabling paraphernalias and infrastructure to support their growth, because 70% of the women leave law because of family, children, marriage and a whole lot of other issues. Unless we have a support social structure to empower and encourage the women to be continuing practicing, we will be losing a lot of women leadership going forward.
You know, AI. Yes, I think you're absolutely right. AI has been a very major part of our lives in 2022, and I see it playing a bigger role in 23. It's going to be not your usual contract reviews and data management. It's going to go far beyond it. There's going to be deeper analysis. There's a lot more with quality and content, and I see many players coming in the AI field, and that's very good for any growing technology, because there's a lot of disruption, there's a lot of new inventions which are happening, and I think as a customer, as somebody who's a user of the technology, I'm looking forward to it.